Good afternoon, morning, everyone who are joining us today for our 27th International Talk on Green Business, Sustainability, and Climate Action. And again, we are organizing this webinar jointly, Global Ambassadors of Sustainability and Global Green Chamber of Commerce. So now I'm inviting Ms. Michelle Thatcher for opening remarks. The floor is yours, Ms. Michelle.
Thank you, Dr. Wissam, and welcome everyone. So happy to have you with us today. Today we are going to explore three critical dimensions of sustainability that together highlight how innovation, leaderships, and science are reshaping our world. We will hear from Dr. Fadzil, who will share groundbreaking research on reducing the massive carbon footprint of cement and concrete industry, including new methods to capture and utilize CO2 emissions. And then we will hear from Ms. Amira, who will bring us into the UAE's bold net zero 2050 strategy, showing how organizations can turn sustainability commitments into measurable action. And we will also hear from Ms. Hasna, who will highlight how smart irrigation and root sciences are redefining sustainable agriculture, water management, and climate resilience. So together, these talks weave a powerful narrative about how infrastructure, policy, and innovation in natural systems can align to deliver a more sustainable future. So again, welcome everyone. We're having a very exciting program today. I wanted to remind everybody that Thursday, October 23rd will be the next international talk, our 28th international talk. That's 3 weeks from now, so a little bit different timeline than what you're used to. And as always, we want to just take a moment of silence to focus in on peace, love, and kindness. There are so many of us out there in the audience, perhaps our speakers today that are going through so much turmoil in the world. Could be war, could be famine, could be just personal struggles. So please just take a moment to take a breath, to give peace, love, and kindness to each other, to our speakers, to our audience, and to the world as a whole. Thank you so much for that. And I'm going to pass it over to Constance Rabi, who's joining us from France today, to give some friendly reminders.
Hi, everybody. It's nice to see you again. So our friendly reminders are that we encourage your participation. You also are the star of the show, and this will not be such a dynamic webinar without you. And so you're welcome to share thoughts, reaction, and insight during the presentation, as well as question. All question will be asked during the Q&A at the end, but I will welcome you to ask your question after each after each speaker's presentation. And we also would love to know where you're from. So as Michelle said, I am from the south of France in Pau. And so if you could give us your location, city, and country, whatever you feel comfortable, we would love to know. And yeah, this is a space for open, inclusive, and uplifting dialogue. We are all here to respect each other. And let's build a global inspiration together. Back to Michelle.
Thank you so much, Constance. And yeah, we are such a tight group of individuals from all over the world. So thank you again for including where you're joining us, and we'll mention those later. I also want to just pass it back to Dr. Wissam of the Global Ambassadors of Sustainability, who is our hero of the hour, bringing us all together. And if you're not following Dr. Wissam and or the Global Ambassadors of Sustainability on LinkedIn, I encourage you to do so. And you'll notice that Dr. Wissam has amazing news about his son and his recent graduation, who I hope we will have on a future program. So please check that out. And without further ado, I will pass it over to Dr. Wissam.
Thank you so much, Michelle, for your kind words. And let's start with our first guest speaker. And our guest speaker will be Prof. Dr. Muhammad Fazil bin Arshad. And Prof. Fazil, he is the director of the Institute for Infrastructure Engineering and Sustainable Management at University Technology Mara from Malaysia. So the floor is yours, Prof. You are muted, Prof. Can you please unmute from the button? Okay, so maybe for the time being, we move to these.
Is it okay?
Yeah, we can. Yes. The floor is yours, Prof. Yep.
All right. Thank you very much to Dr. Wissam and to all the participants of this event. First of all, I would like to say thank you very much to the organizer for giving me an opportunity to give my thought on this event. And I feel very happy to share my thought in this 27th International Talk on Green Business, Sustainability and Climate Action. So in this lovely night, I would like to share some of my thought and research that have been carried out in my institute, which is Institute for Infrastructure Engineering and Sustainable Management. Before I proceed with my presentations, I would like to give some introductions to my institute, Institute for Infrastructure Engineering and Sustainable Management, or been known as ISEM, is one of the research center in my university in Malaysia. My university called University Technology Mara, and it is the biggest university in Malaysia. We have about 180,000 students all around Malaysia, and this research center been established and been responsible to do a research on the infrastructure engineering and sustainable management for the university and the Malaysia as well. So in this lovely afternoon, I would like to present my presentations on the title of Impact of Carbon Dioxide Sequestration in Concrete to Engineering, Environment and Economic Values. How do I go to the next slide? Should I?
If you hover over the slide, you can just move from slide to slide. Oh.
I'm afraid you left the chat. But...
Okay, so maybe we move to the next speaker for the time being. And the next speaker will be Ms. Amira Al-Adwani. And Ms. Amira is a doctoral candidate at the HALT International Business School from the United Arab Emirates. So the floor is yours, Ms. Amira.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Wasim, and thank you, everyone. Hello, everyone, and welcome. For the next 15 minutes, you'll be going to explore one of the most exciting challenges of our time. It's net zero, focusing on how the UAE can actually deliver on its bold net zero 2050 vision. Together, we will explore not only the scale of the challenge, but also the practical action leaders can take right now to turn ambition to action. Here, our roadmap for today. I'll start with the introduction, research background and objectives. Next, I'll present my theoretical foundation and conceptual model, followed by the research strategy and data analysis. Finally, I'll share my key insights on turning strategy into action across the UAE organizations. Let me begin with the big picture. My research is driven by the global urgency to address climate change following the 2015 Paris Agreement, where nearly 200 countries pledged to limit global warming. The UAE Net Zero by 2050 strategy, announced in October 2021, was the first of its kind, and not only in the Gulf region, but in the Middle East and North Africa. The real challenge is turning strategy into action. As you can see, this chart shows the path from 2019 emission baseline to a sharp decline toward net zero. This question is, how do we make the trajectory real across the UAE organizations? Moving on to the UAE path to net zero demand bold action. But the effective implementation of the net zero strategies remain significant challenge. My research is focused on closing the gap between vision and action, guided by one question: how can the UAE organizations move from vision to action on net zero strategy? This translation requires a fundamental shift from hydrocarbons to low carbon economy. To support that shift, the study identifies the critical success factors needed to translate strategy into measurable results. With that in mind, let's begin examine the UAE energy mix. This is the UAE energy mix. On the left, we see today's emission are driven mostly by the industry and power, which together accounts for nearly 70%. On the right, we see the destination, net zero by 2050, where clean energy leads. The key takeaway is real progress comes from targeted actions, prioritizing the decarbonization of our largest emission sources. To frame the path forward, we now look at the theoretical foundation that I have used in my research. My research was built on four well-established foundations, starting with the first one, resource-based view, showing that strong strategic planning can be a unique organizational strength. Second, dynamic capabilities theory, proven that innovations help organizations adopt and convert planning into results. Third is the organization change theory, emphasizing on the ability and adaptability, communication, and readiness to execute change. Fourth and final, institutional theory, highlighting the role of external pressure from regulatories, investors, and partners in driving alignment with the net zero strategy. Together, these theories doesn't just explain successful factors in isolation, they build the foundation of my conceptual model that connects strategy, leadership, innovation, and adaptability into one system. Moving on to my conceptual model, which I developed for my research. Think of it as a map that brings together the key drivers that help organizations in the UAE achieve the net zero. I focus on 5 powerful drivers: leadership, planning, innovation, implementation, and adaptability into one clear framework, showing how the pieces fits together and highlight the area that matters the most for turning vision into action. Importantly, this model is not just a theory, it's a practical guide to drive actions, closing the execution gap and shape the UAE sustainable future. Moving on to my research strategy. My research, here, as they can say, here where my research actually came to life. I used a quantitative survey-based approach to translate theory into solid evidence, analyzing data from around 32 organizations across the UAE, covering the government, civic government, and private sector. The survey used a scale of 1 to 5, from strongly disagree to strongly agree, to capture perception and performance against key drivers. The process followed 4 stages, starting with the survey design. We built a survey framework tailored to the context of the UAE, focused on the key drivers like leadership, planning, and implementation. Second stage was data collection. We engaged with the organizations directly to gather authentic, on-the-ground insights. Third stage was data cleaning. We carefully reviewed the data, ensuring it was reliable and consistent. Why it matters? To make sure we have a trustworthy foundation for a real decision. Fourth and final stage is the data analysis and testing. We applied statistical methods using SPSS and other analysis methods to uncover the powerful connections between organizations. And I hope this is clear for you. Now let's look into what the data analysis reveal. Starting with the performance excellence scorecard. This tool shows how well organizations perform against key sustainability drivers, turning strategic goals into measurable results. I found out that an average performance score is 4.18 out of 5, with 4 key drivers above that average, showing where UAE organizations are already excelling. Keep in mind, this is not just a snapshot, it's a tool for leaders to pinpoint strength, address gaps, and prioritizing efforts for maximizing impacts. Key drivers of sustainability success. Oh, sorry, I think, yeah, I moved a bit faster. Here's our strategic priority matrix. It shows exactly where we should to focus. The data reveal 3 things. First, our biggest strength is the top management commitment. Leaders are fully on board. Second is our biggest challenges is strategy implementation. This is our execution gap. We know what we do, but we are not doing it consistently. Third, our greatest opportunity is the public-private collaboration and technology and innovation and adaptability. So it's 3 points where we should focus more. Bottom line, the UAE is aligned on priorities. The real work and best chance of success is boosting execution, collaboration, and innovation. Moving on to key drivers and sustainability success. This chart illustrates how strategic factors influence sustainability performance. Don't worry about the statistics. What matters is the relative strength of the relationship. The main takeaway is leadership commitment is the strongest driver. When top management is visibly commit, performance improve across the board. Innovation also plays a powerful role, strongly boosting sustainability outcomes. And financial strength and strategic planning matters too. providing solid execution and partnership. They help, but not only as strongly as a leader and innovation. And finally, the adaptability on its own, it's weak link between all of them. Being adaptable without a clear direction, it doesn't guarantee success. So if you want to deliver net zero, the message is to start with the leadership and innovation. They are the real engine of progress. Now let's take a look on the adaptability and understand more about it. Here, I personally call it the accelerator for net zero to reveal a powerful insight. Adaptability is not just an option, it's a multiplier for sustainability performance. By itself, it's weak, but together with other factors, it helps to boost the performance in general. The data show low adaptability average score is around 3.5, medium is 4, and high is 4.5. While strong leadership and strategy are the engine, adaptability is the accelerator that turns net zero strategy into real impact. But again, the success is not shaped by internal strength alone. Let's look at who really moves the needle and shape the path to net zero. When we talk about the net zero, it's not just about technology or policies, it's about the people and the forces that shapes organizations' behavior. My research validates and ranked the influence of the key stakeholders. At the top of the influence are the government and regulatories, which around scores around 25%. They set the rules. Therefore, they do have a higher or bigger weight in this equation. Second are the investors by 22%, who push the organizations toward the long-term value creation, followed by the customers, which is 20%, reshape the industry with their choices. NGOs, 16%, keep transparency alive and bringing accountability to the table. And finally, employees, 15%, turning strategy into action. So net zero require aligning these factors to turn stakeholders' pressure into execution. And when stakeholders turn up the heat, organizations mobilize resources and deliver real changes. Fine. And another driver is the technology innovation and the public-private collaboration and strategy implementation. This chart reveals that not all drivers are equal when it comes to achieving net zero goals. Some factors have a much stronger impact on sustainability performance. The analysis shows the technology and innovation is a powerful driver, accounting for over 41.8% of the total impact. Second is the public-private collaboration is equally critical, responsible for 35.4% of the total impact. Third is the strategy implementation, which account for 22.5% of the total impact. Success comes from the right combination. When the leaders align their commitment with a clear planning, strong collaboration, and innovation, organizations can accelerate their progress and turn vision into measurable results. Moving on to our final point, from the strategy to execution. There are 5 critical factors for the net zero success, starting from closing the execution gap. Vision without execution is not just a dream. Every plan must turn into a measurable real-world result. Second, unwavering leadership. Turn progress starts at the top, and top management commitment is the most powerful drivers of the net zero success. Third, strategy, innovation. Make innovations the engine of the change. New technologies and sustainable practices are the pathway to strong outcomes. 5 is the dynamic adaptability. The path to net zero is not linear. Our organizations that stay flexible and embrace change consistently outperform their peers. Finally, collaboration across ecosystem is the glue that bind all efforts together, integrating these factors and sustaining progress. No single organization can do this alone. Public-private collaboration is how we multiply impact and accelerate progress. Those are the 5 factors are what turn vision into action. In conclusion, Net Zero 50 is not only about strategy, documents, or glossy plans, it's about action. The journey demands leadership, innovation, adaptability, execution, and above all, collaboration. The true test is not only identifying these factors, but bringing them to life. Strategy alone will not get us there. This is a shared journey, and I'm emphasized on the word of shared journey, one that requires government, semi-government, and private sectors working side by side. When these factors align, the gap between vision and action begins to close. And that's how we turn vision into reality and secure a true sustainable future for the UAE. Thank you for joining me today. It's been a pleasure to share these insights with you, and I look forward to hear any thoughts or questions if you have.
Yeah, thank you so much, Ms. Amira, for this interesting presentation. So I think we back to Prof. Dr. Fazil to continue the presentation, please.
And Constance, if you could move from slide to slide, I think, because you had uploaded it.
Prof. Fazil, can you please unmute yourself?
Okay.
Yes, we can
Dr.
hear you.
Wesam, I think I will have a problem to move the slide because
No.
I
It's
think
okay. We will assist. We will assist you.
All right, thank you very much. Okay. All right. Once again, good afternoon, everyone. First of all, I would like to say sorry for the interruptions and the problems that we have just now. Before I drop off from the presentation on the early stage, I think I have give some informations on what ISEM is all about, and I hope that this is not the first and the last that we meet, and I'm really looking forward to collaborate with all of us. On behalf of ISEM and UiTM, I feel very proud to have the presentations and the opportunity, and I hope that we can do more collaborations in future to come. So as a start, the title of my presentation is Impact of CO2 Sequestration in Concrete to Engineering, Environment and Economic Values. First of all, I would like to say thank you very much to Ms. Amra for the presentations. As what I've been presented just now, I think my presentation will be quite in line with Ms. Amra data and presentations, since one of the findings given by Ms. Amra is on the technology and innovations drive about 41.8% in the sense of green technology and saving the world through the CO2. So this will be my content of presentations where we're talking about the concrete cement industry, environmental economic impacts, industry pathway, CO2 utilizations, and what your ITMs are doing in order to the innovations that have been developed in our university in order to support the programs of environmental issues. Next slide, please. Okay, this is as introduction. I just want to present on how much the cement amount have been utilized from 1970 to 2018. I'm sorry because this is not the latest data, but anyway, I just want to show that the trend of utilizations of cement in the construction industry is rapidly and drastically increased from 500 million ton per year is become to at 2018 it become to 4,500 million ton per year. Next slide, please. And this is the latest data up to 2022. Also present almost the same pattern from productions of in billion metric ton from 1 billion up to 4 billion metric ton per year. Next slide, please. And then this slide present on which country so far been identified as the biggest producer and user of cement, which refer to China have become the number one, which use about 2,100 billion metric tons of cement every year. Okay, followed by India and other countries as well. So as to reduce the impact of the cement, just for information, for every 1 kilo of cement produced, 1 kilo of CO2 gases will come together with the productions of cement. So this issue is become very critical, and as the players of the concrete industry, I think the industry have to be responsible in order to reduce the impact of CO2 to the environment. Next slide, please. So this slide present where concrete itself are producing about 8% of the CO2 around the world, and out of this 8%, 5% is coming from the cement industry. So all over from this picture, we can see that how serious the construction industry responsible to the CO2. Okay. Okay. Next slide, please. And where is the CO2 come from, and how do the cement productions are producing a CO2? Especially, actually, when we are producing cement, we have to burn out. We have to calcine the raw materials to be used in the productions of cement, such as the calcium carbonate, the silica and alumina. We have to extract the CO2 from the calcium carbonate, especially where we got to heat the calcium carbonate up to 1,400 degrees Celsius. By heating the calcium carbonate, the CO2 will be released, and we will get a clinker which contain of calcium oxide, where the calcium oxide is the major component to be used or required in the productions of, or in the hydration or the chemical activities of the cement itself. Okay, next slide, please. So impacts of the high CO2 to the environmental impact definitely have been presented before, where we can see that from the picture have been presented before. It's produce a lot of CO2, as I mentioned before. For every 1 kilo of cement produced, it comes together with 1 kilo of CO2 released to the environment. And due to that issue, this will give an economic impact to the environment, where we got to face with the critical condition of environment due to the CO2 which been released by the cement industry. Next slide, please. Okay. How we are going to reduce the impact of CO2 from the industry? There is a few methods that have been proposed for this presentation. Maybe we can use even a lot of research and innovation have been carried out to overcome this issue, and I can group all the innovations into 4 groups as for now, which is we are replacing the ordinary Portland cement with a new material. We call it supplementary cementitious material. Okay, I will go one by one after this, and then we can go in terms of energy clean efficiency, And then we also can design a new specification, and through this technology we can capture the carbon dioxide which has been released to the environment. Next slide, please. Okay, one of the way on how we are going to use the to reduce the impact of CO2 is by replacing the ordinary Portland cement with a byproduct which is before this called a waste material from specific industry, okay, such as a steel industry. The steel industry are producing a waste that we call it GGBS or steel slag. The rice industry, we got the rice husk ash. From the burning of coal, we got a fly ash. From the paper industry, we got a waste paper slash ash, and etc. All of these ashes was identified as a so-called potential material to be used as a cement replacement material. And from the research that been carried out, we identified that all these ashes can be replaced a cement up to 60%. So just imagine, by replacing ordinary Portland cement, for every kilo of ordinary Portland cement be replaced, means to say that we are reducing the impact of CO2 emission to the environment at a value of 1 kilo as well. So if we are replacing about 60%, so means to say that 60% of CO2 emissions that produced from the cement industry can be reduced. So this is one of the greatest breakthrough by the researchers and engineers on how to reduce the impact of CO2 to the environment. Next slide, please. So this is what I mean by that. Before they are releasing the CO2. Now by replacing the ordinary Portland cement with waste material, or so-called byproduct from the industry, to become a part of the cement, so we can reduce the impact of CO2. Next slide, please. Okay, this is some of the example of the features. On the right side is the rice husk ash. This one is calcium carbonate itself. And then we have silica fume. It is come from the ferrum alumina industry. It is a byproduct of ferrum alumina industry. And then we have steel slag. This is a steel slag. We call it ground granulated blast slag. And then we also have a metakaolin. Metakaolin is a byproduct from the ceramic industry. And then we have WPSA, which is waste paper slash ash. Is a byproduct from the waste paper from the paper pulp industry. Next slide, please. So all of this material can be used in order to reduce the impact of CO2, where they were being used as a cement replacement material. The next method that have been introduced to the industry is by offering a new concept of curing. Before this technology, we are using a water curing to cure the concrete, and in order to have a proper chemical reaction between the cement and the water. So they have to cure the concrete inside the water. But from the research being carried out, we identified that by curing the concrete into the CO2 environment, it will improve the concrete properties as well, and even better than curing in the water. So this is another technology that been identified through the research being carried out. Next slide, please. So this is the proof that we identify at the 3 days, 7 days, and 28 days. We can see that the pores in the surface of concrete have been reduced when it have been cured, okay, in the CO2 environment. Okay, cured in the CO2 environment, in CO2 gases as well. Next slide, please. So this is one of the method. Actually, this is a curing chamber, CO2 chamber, located in UITM. We are successfully producing this chamber, where we are injecting a CO2 gas into the chamber, and we are placing our concrete sample into it. And when we do a testing on the mechanical and physical properties, we identify that the concrete properties have become better after being cured in the CO2 chamber. Next slide, please. Okay, another method have been introduced by the industry is by injecting a CO2 gas during a concrete mixing. Okay, so what will happen? They will change the calcium oxide into a calcium carbonate, and then this calcium carbonate become a filler into a concrete where the calcium carbonate can improve the durability and in the same time improve the mechanical properties of the concrete through the injections of CO2 gas during the mixing process. Next slide, please. Okay, and then the industry also, the other innovation is by producing a CO2 aggregates, where before this we got the aggregates from the natural resource. We got to blast the mountain, we got to blast the hills to get the aggregates, and then we have to drag the river sand to get the fine aggregate. But through the innovations, we are successfully producing a new type of aggregate by using the CO2. Okay, by special formulations, we are successfully producing a new type of aggregate from CO2, bind it with the magnesium oxide and other material as well, in order to have a new type of aggregate. So we hope that this kind of aggregate can be market into the industry, and we can reduce the impact of blasting the natural resource in our world. Next slide, please. Okay, next slide. Next slide. All right. So this is what I'm trying to present is about our innovations in UiTM itself. Instead of we are trying another three methods that have been mentioned, this is the latest innovations that we are successfully produced. As I mentioned before, on the first step, they are using a waste material to become a cementitious replacement material. In the second step, in the second method, they are using CO2 as a curing compound. On the third method, they are using a CO2 gas as a mixing process. And then the fourth method, they are producing an aggregates into they're producing aggregate from the CO2. But in our innovations in UiTM, we are producing a liquid that we call it ACOP. ACOP actually is stand for acid carbonate. Acid carbonate. Okay, we are producing an acid carbonate, and at a certain portion, this acid carbonate was produced by injecting a CO2 into a liquid, into a water. So we are producing an acid carbonate, and this acid carbonate was identified successfully improve the properties of concrete as well. Next slide, please. So actually, this grant was funded by next slide. This project was funded by one of our petroleum country in Malaysia, which is Petronas. And then we are successfully produced this so-called ACOP, or a new name that been given by the Petronas is the carbon oxide solution, which is COS. COS. Next slide, please. So next slide. So this is how we are producing COS. We are just intrude the CO2 into a water, and then we're producing a new type of liquid that we call it COS. And next slide, please. This COS have been used during a concrete mixing. It is more easier than we are using a gas intrusion during the concrete mixing. Okay, because if we are using a gas method during the mixing process, the potential of gas to be released up and not being conclude into the concrete mixer is very high. So by using COS, it improves the mixing process, and in the same time improve the properties of concrete and durability as well. So next slide, please. I'm sorry. Okay. So this is the technology that have been introduced, and the Petronas nowadays, they are trying to market this product into the concrete industry all around the world. Next slide, please. Yes, this is some comparative study on the method have been discussed before. I don't think I want to prolong by discussing this method. Maybe we can discuss it after in other time. Next slide, please. Okay, and then this is the impact on the environmental by extracting the CO2. Okay, we are successfully reduce the impact of CO2 to the environment. In the same time, we can produce a better concrete product. Next slide, please. Okay, this is some of the analysis that have been carried out. For every cement content kilogram per meter cube, we can identify how many trees required to absorb the CO2. An example, let's say we are using 500 kilogram of cement content with ECOP that been used by our in our innovation. We can see that its equivalent numbers of tree, about 20 numbers of tree required to absorb 23.6 kilogram actually meter cube of CO2. Next slide, please. Okay, so this is the roadmap where we can use the ECOP 25, 50, even up to 75%, and it improves the properties of concrete as overall. Next slide, please. And as a conclusion, we can reduce the CO2. The construction industry can reduce the CO2 by using all the innovations that have been carried out. And I just like to say that this innovation is still keep on going. Many research still actively been carried out, not only in UiTM but all around the world. But as from the ISEP itself, I would like to say thank you very much once again, and we would like to happy to share with you the technology, and we also can provide trainings to all the participants as required. So with that, I end up my presentations. Thank you very much once again for all the opportunity, and looking forward to work together. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Prof, for this interesting presentation, interesting findings, and that shows the practical aspect of sustainable development, not only from the environmental perspective, but also from the economical and the needs of the community. So now we move to the third speaker. The third speaker is Ms. Hasna Ashur, and Ms. Hasna is an independent researcher and consultant from Egypt. So the floor is yours, Ms. Hasna. Ms. Hasna, can you unmute yourself, please?
I will share my screen here. Can you see?
Yes, we can see here.
Okay. Good afternoon, distinguished guests, colleagues, and fellow researchers. It's a true honor to me to join you today at the 27th International Talk on Green Business, Sustainability, and Climate Action. Firstly, I would like sincerely thank Dr. Wissam and Ms. Michelle for giving me this opportunity to speak and to be part of such an inspiring global platform. Over the past years, my work has focused on water efficiency, irrigation technologies, and the fascinating science of how plant roots interact with soil and water. In my talk today, I will focus on four main areas. First one, water, as we all know, is the foundation of life and sustainable development. Number two, climate change has placed water at the very center of today's sustainability challenge. Number three, smart irrigation as a key solution to save affecting agriculture, security, and livelihoods, water, and build resilience. And two, I will talk about root dynamics, the hidden half of plants and how they shape our response to climate stress. The last one, the role of youth, innovation, and global partnerships, because sustainability requires collective action across generations and nations. I am really excited to share insights from my research and to exchange knowledge with my distinguished fellow speakers from Malaysia, the United Arab Emirates, and the United States. Together, I believe we can contribute to shaping a greener and more resilient future. Firstly, I will talk about water and the climate challenge. So let us begin with the big picture. Agriculture today consumes about 70% of the world's freshwater resources, according to FAO 2021. At the same time, climate change is intensifying water scarcity, and we are witnessing prolonged droughts, salinity, intrusion in coastal areas, and in rainfall patterns. So by 2050, global food demand is expected to rise by 50%, UN 2019. That means more stress on water resources, more competition, and more vulnerability for farmers. This is why water is not only not only an agriculture issue. It's a climate and sustainable issue for us. The other slide, I'll talk about smart irrigation. One of the most promising solutions to this challenge is smart irrigation. Smart irrigation means applying technology, sensors, Internet of Things, IoT, remote sensing, and artificial intelligence to optimize water use. Instead of irrigating by habits, we irrigate based on data instead of losing water through surface flooding. We apply drip irrigation that delivers water directly to the roots. Instead of treating all fields the same, we use precision irrigation tailored to specific crops, soils, and microclimates. The results are remarkable. Farmers can save over 30 to 50% of water for energy and fertilizers. For examples, and many examples are already transforming agriculture worldwide. Like in India, millions of farmers benefit from national micro irrigation programs. On the other side, in the Gulf region, smart irrigation, like in Saudi Arabia and United Arab Emirates, enables farming despite extreme aridity. The other slide, linking the SDGs. Smart irrigation is not just about it's about achieving the SDGs. One of the most important sustainable development goals to my work is SDG 6, clean water and sanitation. The goal reminds us that water is not unlimited. We must use it efficiently and sustainability, not only for drinking, but also for agriculture, which consumes nearly 70% of global fresh water. Smart irrigation is a direct response to SDG 6 because it ensures that every drop of water is used wisely, reducing waste while still producing food. Now, the SDG I wanted to highlight now is SDG 13. It's about climate action. Climate changing brings droughts, floods, and extreme weather and fires are on the front line of this challenge. So SDG 13 calls for resilience and adaptation, and this is exactly what smart irrigation and roots-based research provide. By using technology and understanding how plants adapt underground, we can make agriculture stronger in the face of climate stress. If we fail to act, water scarcity will reduce crops yield, but also root dynamics. I see the hidden half in my talk today. So water use efficiency or water efficiency is not only about technology. It's also about understanding plants themselves. Called the hidden half of plants, their depth, spread, and behavior determine how effectively absorb water or nutrients. When irrigated smartly, plants develop deeper and healthier root system, making them more drought tolerant. Research into root soil water interactions is helping us design better irrigation schedules, soil management practices, and fertilizer strategies. In fact, I believe root dynamics research holds the key to growing more with less water. This is an area where I am deeply interested in, collaborating with scientists, innovators, and institutions, because understanding root response to stress can unlock new frontiers for sustainable agriculture and climate change. A case study, it's about greenhouse cucumber crop. Let me share an example for my own work in greenhouse cucumber production. We implemented an automatic drip irrigation system. It significantly reduced water losses. Once installed, it required almost no maintenance, and it was simple for farmers to use. We applied a technique called regulated irrigation. At the early growth stage, we applied only small amounts of water. At later stage, especially during fruiting, higher amounts were applied on demand, guided by soil moisture sensors. After this, the results were clear. Water savings were significant compared to traditional irrigation. Water savings were significant compared to the traditional irrigation we used. So yield and fruit quality were maintained, sometimes even improved. Farmers reduced water and energy costs, making the system economically viable. This case shows how smart irrigation is not just theory, but a practical tool for climate resilient agriculture. The major point, also I will talk about its use, innovation, global partnerships. Finally, let us talk about people, the driving force change. Hello, everyone. Is the sound is clear here?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. The major point I will talk about, and it's the last one, it's use innovation. Finally, let us talk about the driving force of change today. 70% of the world's youth live in Asia and Africa. This means we have enormous opportunity to shape the future of food and water security. Young researchers are already leading innovation, develop low-cost IoT sensors for small farmers, using AI to predict soil moisture and crop needs, creating student startups in smart agriculture climate tech. But we need more. Investment in youth-led research, mentorship from experienced scientists, international collaborations that give young voice a platform. Because climate change is not just a significant challenge, it's a generational challenge, and young people must be at the center of the solution. To conclude, smart irrigation is a key pathway to saving water and securing food under climate change. Root research reveals the hidden potential of plants to adapt and serve with less water. youth innovation and global partnerships will ensure these solutions become reality at scale. The future of climate resilience will be built from the roots we nurture today, with technology, science, and the energy for the next generation. So finally, the future of our agriculture depends on the roots we inherit today. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Ms. Hasna, for another interesting presentation and findings. And so today we had these three interconnected topics, which is giving a real scenario and a real example of practical sustainability prospects. So now I'm inviting Ms. Michelle I'm handing over the session for Ms. Michelle and Constance to moderate the Q&A session.
Thank you, Dr. Wissam, and many thanks to our esteemed speakers as well as the audience for asking so many questions today. We always have such an engaged audience, so we want to get right to these questions. But before I do, I want to also just make note, again, we're a super global audience, just a few areas that others are joining us from today: Morocco, Indonesia, Philippines, UAE, Paris, India, Vietnam, Nigeria, Bangalore, India, Brazil, Pakistan, quite a few people, UAE, quite a few people as well, Dubai, Jakarta, Indonesia, Ghana, Egypt, Rwanda, Namibia, Kenya, Peru, Saudi Arabia, and many more. So welcome, everyone. And again, thank you so much for joining us. I want to just make a quick comment on the thread, the common thread throughout all of the presentations today. I want to say each really highlight the hard to abate sustainability challenges, whether it be concrete emissions, organizational execution gaps, or water scarcity. Also, innovation is not treated as a nice to have again, but that essential pathway. And then the intersection of science, leadership, practical applications emerges as the decisive factor in turning sustainability goals into impact. So again, many thank yous to our speakers for bringing all of those to fruition. And we will start out with Professor Fadzil, who got us started today. I just want to make note that it's so inspiring that your work really shows that even though the hardest to decarbonize industries are one of them, with cement being responsible for 7 to 8% of the global carbon emissions, that even with that, the innovation with the ACOB can turn it into a long-term carbon sink, really changing how we see the future. And I know we at the U.S. Green Chamber and Global Green Chamber have a lot of innovative solutions in the concrete industry. So this was super exciting to hear about the future and where it's going. Lots of questions here. I'll start with one from Ishfaqqa, and they ask, what parameters are measured to assess the mechanical strength and durability of concrete?
Okay, thank you for the questions. Thank you, Ms. Michelle, for the comments and evaluations on my presentations. Okay, and answer for the questions, the mechanical properties. Actually, in concrete, we are looking forward for 4 aspects. The first one is physical properties. The second one is the mechanical properties. The third one is on the analysis on the chemical properties, and the last one is on the durability properties. Related to the specific properties on the mechanical properties for concrete, normally we are looking for the compressive strength, and then we're looking for the flexural strength as well. But the main characteristic of the main properties in the concrete technology is the compressive strength. And for the durability, we are looking for the water absorptions. We're looking for the porosity. We are looking for the the durability of concrete in the extreme environments such as sulfate, chloride, and the CO2 gas and the acidic gas as well. So this is the common properties that been stated in the standard specifications when we are conducting a research on the concrete. Okay, am I answering the question?
Absolutely. Thank you so much. And I know some of these topics that we cover here can be very scientific, very in-depth, but I know our audience very much absorbs all of that information, and we can apply it in our solutions that we're doing in the business world with city governments, and really understanding how do we pick those types of solutions and how are they judged. So thank you so much.
Okay.
Our next questions come from Miss Amira. And I want to say, I really feel like all of us come here in a leadership format, and your research highlights that sustainability is not just about vision, but about that execution. And you show us that crucial roles that we as leaders and we as innovators must play to close that gap. So thank you so much, Ms. Amira. And lots of questions here. We have one question from Strong Truth, and Strong asks, what emerging technologies hold the most promise for decarbonization operations in the UAE?
Actually, his question is very interesting, or her question is very interesting. Unfortunately, my research, when I was focusing on the technology itself in general, and not pinpointing to a certain type of technologies, because when you do a research, you need to be vigilant in terms of the nature of questions that you put in your survey. And I didn't want to make it more of a specific, so that I have a broader people to contribute to my survey and be able to share their ideas. That question, to be honest, itself, I believe it can be another research completely by itself. And my research, I was more focusing on the company itself and how to support the companies and identify where they are missing the opportunities, or missing opportunities for them to deliver the net zero strategy. And it came to my knowledge that we are not utilizing the technology and the AI in a way to support us with our strategy planning when we are considering the net zero strategy itself, or sustainability in general. And not only, because after all, net zero is sustainability strategy. And people are using the technology as more for day-to-day activities, and not thinking beyond that, yes, we do have a technology that we can utilize in a different way than just, a computer or an AI, especially now, I don't know if you're aware about it, UAE has started even to invest more in finding a green type of AI, because we do hear that AI, and involving AI in our businesses, it will increase, it is against the sustainability technically, it's working completely against it. And we want to find a way to utilize the AI, but still maintaining the sustainability goals that we want to deliver.
Thank you so much.
I know I did not answer his question completely.
No, it's perfect.
This is my research as is. I wouldn't be able to come up with a different answer.
No, thank you so much for your clarification, Ms. Amira. And we are in constant conversation about the balance of sustainability and the conflict of sustainability and AI. So thank you for bringing that up here. Our next question is for Ms. Hasna. And just before that, I just want to say that, being from the soil and water conservation background and working with a lot of farmers and ranchers in the past, the fact that your research focuses on how we can save 30 to 50% of water use while improving the yields is really a breakthrough in food security. And we just want to thank you so much for your research that you've done there. And we have a question. Again, this is from Strong Truth. And Strong asks, how does improving irrigation efficiency support SDG 6 and SDG 2?
Okay, thank you, Strange Trust, for your question. And it's a major question here in our talk. Actually, SDG 6, clean water and sanitation. First, because agriculture is the largest use of fresh water globally, by adopting efficient irrigation such as drip system, soil moisture sensors, and smart scheduling. We can reduce water waste and ensure that fresh water is called sustainability and in quantity across all sectors. Okay. From the other side, it's also about SDG 2, so zero hunger. Efficient irrigation means the crops receive the right amount of water. Maybe we can use deficit irrigation or etc. But the plant can receive the right amount of water at the right time, which improve yields and enhance crop quality and crop quantity and food production and more reliable events under climate and stress. Okay, that's everything.
Thank you so much, Ms. Hasna. And our next question is, we'll go back to you, Dr. Fadzil. We have Hanisa Kamila asks, what are the properties and characteristics needed for the material to replace the cements?
Oh, okay. To replace a cement, all right. Normally, when in the chemical compositions of cement, the most important chemical composition is the calcium oxide. Okay, so commonly this calcium oxide was taken from the natural resource, such as the limestone areas. And then they have to blast the areas and then get the limestone, and they have to crush it, and then they have to calcine it into up to 1,400 degrees Celsius just for the sake of taking out the CO2. So with that, they can have the calcium oxide, where the calcium oxide will become the major chemical compositions that brings a strength to the cementitious properties as overall. So when we are looking forward for other types of materials that can replace the calcium, we have to find the other materials that are required in the cement hydration, such as the silica and alumina. As I presented before, most of the materials that have been used, such as the WPSA, rice husk ash, fly ash, the silica fume, all of these last time been called as waste material, but nowadays they've been called as byproducts materials containing silica and alumina. So by having the silica and alumina bond together with the calcium oxide, we can reduce the amount of calcium oxide, because so far in the normal cement, the calcium oxide produce a calcium silicate hydrate crystal, and at the same time they are also having some extra calcium hydroxide. By adding the silica and alumina into the mix, we are producing more calcium silicate hydrate. So we are reducing the waste of calcium inside the cement itself. So this is the breakthrough being carried out or identified by the researchers, where we identify that by using the specific waste material, we can improve the properties by adding the silica and alumina. So I think that will be my answer for the question. Thank you very much.
Perfect. Thank you so very much. And thank you also for just reemphasizing even our language changes of waste material to now byproducts, because we know that in the world of sustainability and sustainable solutions, we are using those byproducts in so many new ways and really looking at new ways to implement them into sustainable practices and solutions. So thank you so much. And our next question is for Ms. Amira. This is from Eric Appiah. I think Eric is from Ghana. How do you see the Middle East region balancing its oil-driven economy with the global push for green transitions?
That's a very interesting question, to be honest. And thank you for asking that question. My whole research actually was based on that. I was more focused on how to support the UAE and the Gulf region or oil-produced countries to be able to achieve the net zero and be able to achieve the sustainability to our future generations. It's a very challenging, honestly. And I have noticed even a lot of countries have been trying to push a bit in terms of delivering what they promised. I've noticed, like, for example, the past 5 years or so, more countries have started to focus on AI instead of continue the path to net zero and continue focusing on the sustainability. Yes, the sustainability is still there, but also there's a huge shift to the AI concept. Yeah, so it is a long road to go to reach. Hoping that my research actually can add something to the Gulf region, to the oil-produced countries, and to pinpoint to where we can focus more and help them to achieve it. I mean, after all, even my research, it's all trajectory to what we are expecting by 2050 to reach. And there's, with the current result, and continue focusing on it, on our targets, I believe there is a hope that we will be able to achieve that one day. The thing that I can emphasize on that most of the time, I mean, most of the Gulf region, at least the Gulf, the Arab Gulf regions, they are knowing that they need to reduce the usage of the carbons in the oil in general. They are trying to shift in terms of even the economy to different sectors and open different channels. That itself, it will help them even to balance between, because after all, we are heavily rely on the income coming from the oil, and our economy itself, it's not yet ready to let go of that. And but we are moving on, hoping for the right track.
Yes, thank you so much. And I think we've seen so much progress and development in the Middle East, that it's been in the Gulf region, really, that it's so impressive, and it's an inspiration to those of us in other parts of the world that also rely heavily on oil. I want to point out the QR code here that Dr. Wissam put up, that if you click on the QR code, there's an opportunity for you to download a certificate for today's program, as well as also let us know if you or somebody you know might be a good speaker in the upcoming events. And just get feedback in general. So please feel free to click on this, and also share this your certificate online on LinkedIn. That's a great way to promote you and the work that you're doing and the education pathway that you're on. So thank you so much. Our next question is for Ms. Hasna. We have a question. How do you balance the promise of smart irrigation technologies with accessibility challenges faced by smallholder farmers? And you're on mute, Ms. Hasna. I think you're still on mute. Ms. Hasna?
I think,
there
yes.
you are.
Sorry, can you repeat because of internet connection?
Yes. Yeah, the question is, how do you balance the promise of smart irrigation technologies with the accessibility challenges faced by smallholder farmers?
Okay.
And you're on mute.
We are muted. Okay. And on my view, by using smart irrigation system for farmers, farmers can adapt to the climate change and something like rainfall and prolonged droughts. Uh, According to my talk and my slides, it keeps them to use deficit irrigation, or they can use irrigation efficiently because they can adapt to the smart irrigation such as a drip irrigation or deficit irrigation. Also, they can reduce water losses and ensure crops just the right have to amount and water when they need it to do. Okay, and that means even under heat stress on farmers, they can live to the first level of great fruit yield. As I talked, if we use smart irrigation, you can save water, you can save fruits, and we can get the greatest fruit yield.
Thank you, Ms. Hasna. Really appreciate that, and really important information. We'll jump back over to Dr. Fadzil. We have a question from Strong Truth, and Strong asked, what governance frameworks are in place to oversee both innovation and initiatives and operational resilience within the industry?
Pardon me, can you repeat the question? Sorry.
Yes, what governance frameworks are in place to oversee both the innovation initiatives and operational resilience within the industry?
Okay, talking about the governance related to the research and industry practical on the cementitious industry, actually, nowadays in the construction industry, we have been looking forward, seriously and actively been looking forward for a green technology to be implemented in the construction industry, since our industry have been growth so drastically. So the impact to the environment also is become more critical. So all over the world on the construction industry itself has to be responsible, especially when looking at the SDG, Sustainable Development Goals. We have a smart city and innovations on industry as one of the initiative stated in the SDG. And instead of that, nowadays the industry also looking forward or going for the ESG. So when we're talking about ESG nowadays, the industry, if they want some fund from the banks, the banks also require some ESG values and credit point in order to give specific loans to the industry in order for the enhancement of industry. So I've been looking this initiative, which given by not only by the governments, but even the financial departments, even the financial unit also playing parts in make sure that all these initiative, the green initiative, have to be seriously taken by the industry. So I think that will be my answer for the question. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Doctor. And our next question is for Ms. Amira. This question is from Tony Doyle. And Tony asks, from your research, do you believe there is a clear, coherent understanding across all sectors of what net zero actually is, as the concept as it has often been misunderstood or hijacked by certain interests?
Thank you for the question. This is one of the key questions actually that has been discussed with my supervisor. And we were, we discussed that not everyone, the definition of net zero is not a standard definition across the organizations or even within the employees themselves. And because of that, when I was developing my research questions and the survey questions, I tried to be very clear in terms of when I'm presenting the questions, that's very I mean, they do understand what do I mean by net zero, and the fact that we want to achieve our sustainability targets, and the fact that we are trying to reduce the CO2 emission and moving from the CO2 heavy industry to decarbonized, sector industry in a way. So yes, we did make sure to keep that in mind when we were developing the research questions and the survey, and we tailored to be more simpler. Even because he challenged me in one of the things which was very interesting. The concept of semi-government is not very familiar internationally. And I told them, no, that's in some region, apparently they have a different meaning or a different, the different sector they call semi-government, not the way that how we see it in UAE. But anyway, I didn't need to worry a lot about it because it was more focused on the UAE based companies, and especially a majority of my response came from Abu Dhabi, interestingly. And I believe one of the main reasons because most of the governments who are focusing on the net zero and they're all mainly working in Abu Dhabi.
Thank you, Ms. Amir. I think it's really important for us to ask those kinds of questions and get that understanding of how much you went through in your research, just from understanding what everyone's common thread of understanding was with net zero, and diving into really developing questions, survey questions. For those of us who do put out survey questions on occasion, is so complex, and I think people underestimate what that takes. So thank you.
It took me 4 months to work on it, to be honest. I never thought that would be that challenging to produce survey questions. And the fact that I want to get a meaningful result from it. And the fact, yes, I can just distribute it and get results, but does it really reflect the actual reality of what we have in our organizations in general? Is there a balance between government, semi-government, and private sector's responses? I had to do a lot of things in terms of weighing the responses and also cleanup, and a lot of interesting journey for me.
Yes, thank you again for sharing that information. And I noticed that we were just running out of time right now. And so I'm going to just give my sincerest gratitude to all of our speakers, our collective team. Thank you, Constance. Thank you, Dr. Wissam. Thank you to our audience who has been asking so many thoughtful questions and always does. Reminder that we will be returning in 3 weeks, but I'm going to pass this back over to Dr. Wissam.
Yeah, thank you so much, Ms. Michelle and Constance. So again, thank you so much for the speakers, Bro Fazil, Ms. Amira, Ms. Hasna, and also for the audience, the respected audience, for their engagements and their meaningful questions to enrich the discussion. So thank you so much. We'll see you in 3 weeks' time this time. And we'll keep on touch, and we'll keep engaged to bring more people to the discussion and share their views and build more international networks. So thank you so much, and have a good time, everyone. Bye-bye.
Okay, thank you, everyone. See you again.
Thank you, bye.
Bye.